Michigan Real Estate Continuing Education. Question 1. During a buyer consultation in Marquette, a branch manager encounters a rule involving advertising that indicates a preference or limitation based on a protected status. Which response follows Michigan law, while the file concerns a farm parcel, a title commitment, and a confidential price limit? Option A. Permitted puffery. Option B. Discriminatory advertising. Option C. A lawful deed restriction. Option D. A required broker identifier. The correct answer is option B. Discriminatory advertising. Marketing language may not signal that protected people are unwelcome or preferred. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. Broker identification and ordinary promotional opinion are separate issues. Question 2. A licensee is preparing for an offer review in Pontiac. Which statement correctly addresses reasonable accommodation for a person with a disability, while the file concerns a lakefront cottage, a seller net sheet, and a change of employing broker? Option A. Consider a necessary change to rules or practices unless an applicable defense exists. Option B. Treat the request as a commission dispute. Option C. Require the person to waive civil rights. Option D. Reject every request automatically. The correct answer is option A. Consider a necessary change to rules or practices unless an applicable defense exists. Disability protections may require flexibility in policies so a person can use and enjoy housing. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. A brokerage minus fee issue does not resolve an accommodation request. Question 3. Which Michigan requirement should control when a salesperson deals with a licensee's obligation when the department requests proof of required disclosures or consents during an open house, while the file concerns a townhouse, a property condition statement, and an owner-minus-licensee conflict? Option A. Delete the transaction file. Option B. Rely only on memory. Option C. Provide satisfactory written proof. Option D. Ask the buyer to create the record later. The correct answer is option C. Provide satisfactory written proof. Documented disclosures and consents allow the department to verify compliance. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. Oral recollection is weaker than the written proof contemplated by the statute. Stressed about your real estate? We can take real estate for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. At a brokerage audit, the brokerage discusses the reason for maintaining complete transaction files. Which conclusion is most accurate, while the file concerns a urban infill property, a property management ledger, and an expired license issue? Option A. Avoid every client communication. Option B. Replace the purchase agreement. Option C. Eliminate the need for licensure. Option D. Support supervision, accounting, disclosures, and regulatory review. The correct answer is option D. Support supervision, accounting, disclosures, and regulatory review. A complete file shows how the brokerage handled money, agency, offers, and required notices. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. Filekeeping does not replace contracts or occupational authority. Question 5. A compliance question in Grand Rapids concerns the minimum age for an initial salesperson applicant. Which action or statement is appropriate, while the file concerns a subdivision lot, a title commitment, and a property minus management payment? Option A. At least 16 years old. Option B. At least 19 years old. Option C. At least 18 years old. Option D. At least 21 years old. The correct answer is option C. At least 18 years old. Michigan requires an initial salesperson applicant to have reached legal adulthood. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. Higher age thresholds are not part of the current salesperson checklist. Question 6. How should a Michigan buyer representative handle a situation involving the approved education needed before examination eligibility, while the file concerns a rural acreage, a seller net sheet, and a delayed possession term? Option A. A complete 40 hours of approved pre-licensure education. Option B. A complete 90 hours of broker education. Option C. Complete 24 hours of approved education. Option D. A complete 60 hours of continuing education. The correct answer is option A. Complete 40 hours of approved pre-licensure education. The salesperson pathway begins with 40 approved instructional hours. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. Broker coursework and renewal education serve different licensing purposes. Question 7. Which choice best applies the state rule concerning the civil minus rights component within salesperson pre-licensure education to a property management meeting, while the file concerns a single minus family residence, a property condition statement, and a cooperating brokerage? Option A include one optional ethics seminar. Option B include a federal tax workshop. Option C include 8 hours of appraisal only. Option D include at least 4 hours on civil rights law and equal opportunity in housing. The correct answer is option D. Include at least 4 hours on civil rights law and equal opportunity in housing. A defined portion of the qualifying course addresses housing equality and civil minus rights law. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. An unrelated elective does not satisfy this subject minus specific mandate. Question 8. A file from Muskegon raises an issue about the examination provider used for the Michigan salesperson test. Which answer identifies the governing requirement, while the file concerns a small apartment building, a property management ledger, and a rejected counteroffer? Option A, pass an examination administered by the employing broker. Option B, pass a county assessor examination. Option C, pass the salesperson examination administered by SI. Option D, pass only a school final examination. The correct answer is option C, pass the salesperson examination administered by SI. Michigan uses an independent testing vendor for the salesperson licensing examination. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. An employing broker may sponsor the applicant but does not administer the state examination. Are you looking for real estate actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access real estate study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get real estate answer key today. Question 9. Before completing a transaction minus file review, which rule should the new applicant apply to the step that produces the candidate identification needed to schedule the test, while the file concerns a office condominium, a title commitment, and an assumed business name? Option A. Ask a broker to create the candidate number. Option B. Submit the online salesperson application and education proof first. Option C. Wait until a license is issued. Option D. Schedule with SI before applying. The correct answer is option B. Submit the online salesperson application and education proof first. Exam eligibility is connected to the online application record and verified course completion. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. The identifier is not created by a school or a prospective employer. Question 10. A Michigan exam candidate reviews a scenario involving the employment relationship required before an active salesperson license is issued. Which option reflects the current licensing framework, while the file concerns a condominium unit, a seller net sheet, and a security minus deposit question? Option A. Register with a local board only. Option B. Use a title company as the statutory employer. Option C. Work independently without a broker. Option D. Obtain sponsorship from a licensed individual broker or broker company. The correct answer is option D. Obtain sponsorship from a licensed individual broker or broker company. A Michigan salesperson practices through a licensed employing broker. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. Independent brokerage activity requires a different level of licensure. Question 11. The broker's policy manual addresses the number of brokers to which a salesperson may be licensed at one time. Which provision should it contain, while the file concerns a retail suite, a property condition statement, and a dual minus representation concern? Option A. Any number of affiliated brokers. Option B. One employing broker. Option C. No broker after passing the examination. Option D. Two brokers if both consent. The correct answer is option B. One employing broker. The salesperson license is tied to a single employing brokerage at a time. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. Consent between firms does not create an exception to the one-employer structure. Question 12. A regulator asks about whether a person may simultaneously hold salesperson and broker licenses during a brokerage review. Which response demonstrates compliance, while the file concerns a manufactured home site, a property management ledger, and a protected minus class inquiry? Option A. Both licenses may remain active indefinitely. Option B. Both are allowed if issued in different counties. Option C. The person may not hold both license types at the same time. Option D. The restriction applies only to associate brokers. The correct answer is option C. The person may not hold both license types at the same time. Michigan separates the salesperson credential from broker minus level licensure. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. County location does not alter the statewide licensing classification. Question 13. Which statement would be safest for a salesperson to follow when the usual validity period of initial salesperson pre-licensure education becomes relevant, while the file concerns a 2-unit rental, a title commitment, and a disputed repair credit? Option A. 1 year from application. Option B. 30-6 months from course completion. Option C. 6 months from enrollment. Option D. 5 years from examination. The correct answer is option B. 30-6 months from course completion. Initial salesperson coursework remains usable for a 3-year period after completion. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. The examination and application have their own shorter validity periods. Question 14. A dispute arises during a seller consultation over the usual validity period of a passing salesperson exam result. Which principal resolves the issue, while the file concerns a historic residence, a seller net sheet, and an electronic signature? Option A. 1 year from the passing date. Option B. 3 years from testing. Option C. No expiration after passing. Option D. 90 days from testing. The correct answer is option A. 1 year from the passing date. A passing licensing score is time-minus limited even though it has been reported to the application. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. Course validity and license minus cycle length do not extend the score period. Question 15. In Saginaw, an employing broker must decide how to proceed with the usual validity period of a paid salesperson application. Which decision is consistent with Michigan requirements, while the file concerns a student rental, a property condition statement, and a referral arrangement? Option A. 2 years from course completion. Option B. 1 year from the payment date. Option C. Until the applicant chooses to reactivate it. Option D. 30 days from submission. The correct answer is option B. 1 year from the payment date. The online application remains open for a defined 12-month period. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. A valid course certificate does not keep an expired application open. Question 16. Which exam answer accurately classifies the rule involving the requirement for a non-Michigan resident applying for a salesperson license, while the file concerns a vacant commercial parcel, a property management ledger, and a team social media post? Option A. Open a branch office. Option B. Appoint a county assessor. Option C. Establish a Michigan homestead. Option D. Submit a consent to service of process. The correct answer is option D. Submit a consent to service of process. A non-resident applicant must provide a mechanism for legal process connected to Michigan regulation. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. Residency in the state is not itself a condition for salesperson eligibility. Question 17. A new policy is being drafted for the allowed address arrangement for a salesperson or associate broker. Which language belongs in the policy, while the file concerns an industrial site, a title commitment, and a record inspection request? Option A. Every licensee must use a storefront. Option B. An out-of-state address automatically voids the license. Option C. Only a broker company may use a post-office box. Option D. A post-office box may be used. The correct answer is option D. A post-office box may be used. Individual salespersons and associate brokers have more flexible address options than brokerage offices. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. The mailing choice does not remove non-resident service process requirements. Question 18. During team training, the supervising broker tests knowledge of the process used when a salesperson changes employing brokers. Which answer should the team select, while the file concerns a new construction home, a seller net sheet, and a branch-office distance issue? Option A. Submit a Me+ modification request for a license transfer. Option B. Keep both employers until renewal. Option C. Transfer the license through the county register of deeds. Option D. File a new pre-licensure course application. The correct answer is option A. Submit a ME+ modification request for a license transfer. Employment changes are recorded through the state licensing system. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. A deed-recording office has no role in transferring an occupational license. Stressed about your real estate? We can take real estate for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee A-Pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. A consumer asks the brokerage to explain the status that may follow removal by an employer before expiration. Which explanation reflects Michigan law, while the file concerns a mixed-use building, a property condition statement, and a financing contingency? Option A. Inactive county registration. Option B. Permanent revocation. Option C. No employer status. Option D. Automatic broker status. The correct answer is option C. No employer status. Michigan does not offer a formal license minus escrow classification for salespersons. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. That status does not authorize independent real estate practice. Question 20. Which compliance step is required when the transaction facts involve the standard salesperson license renewal cycle, while the file concerns a cooperative unit, a property management ledger, and an unrepresented consumer? Option A. 3 years. Option B. 5 years. Option C. 1 year. Option D. 2 years. The correct answer is option A. 3 years. Michigan salesperson credentials operate on a 3-year renewal cycle. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. The cycle length does not eliminate annual subject requirements within continuing education. Question 21. A branch manager notices a potential problem involving the total continuing education expected within a full 3-year cycle. Which response should occur first, while the file concerns a farm parcel, a title commitment, and a confidential price limit? Option A. At least 40 clock hours. Option B. At least 12 clock hours. Option C. At least 18 clock hours. Option D. At least 6 clock hours. The correct answer is option C. At least 18 clock hours. A full renewal cycle requires 18 hours of eligible professional education. The transaction context changes the facts, but it does not change the underlying licensing duty. Pre-licensure coursework cannot simply be relabeled as renewal credit. Question 22. The state portion of the exam presents facts about the annual law-related continuing education component. Which result is supported, while the file concerns a lakefront cottage, a seller net sheet, and a change of employing broker? Option A. 4 hours of appraisal each year. Option B. 1 hour every 3 years. Option C. At least 2 hours involving laws, rules, and court cases. Option D. No annual subject requirement. The correct answer is option C. At least 2 hours involving laws, rules, and court cases. Each year of the license cycle includes a real-estate law component. A written office procedure should produce the same result in comparable transactions. General elective hours do not replace the designated legal instruction. Question 23. Which brokerage practice properly addresses the annual fair minus housing continuing education component in the Muskegon transaction, while the file concerns a townhouse, a property condition statement, and an owner minus licensee conflict? Option A. 1 hour of tax preparation. Option B. No fair minus housing instruction after licensure. Option C. 3 hours of advertising only. Option D. At least 1 hour involving fair housing compliance. The correct answer is option D. At least 1 hour involving fair housing compliance. Housing minus equality instruction remains an annual part of professional education. In the described setting, the brokerage should document the step and apply it before moving forward. A general business course does not satisfy this designated subject by itself. Question 24. A licensee is comparing 4 procedures related to the timing of continuing education in relation to online renewal. Which procedure is lawful, while the file concerns a urban infill property, a property management ledger, and an expired license issue? Option A. A complete education only if audited. Option B. Finish the required education before submitting the renewal. Option C. Substitute a new licensing examination. Option D. Renew first and complete education later. The correct answer is option B. Finish the required education before submitting the renewal. The licensee must be able to truthfully attest to educational compliance during renewal. Applied to this scenario, the licensee should follow the rule before creating further obligations for a party. An audit is a verification mechanism rather than the event that creates the obligation. Question 25. At the end of a closing preparation, the parties question the record minus retention period for proof supporting a continuing education certification. Which statement provides the best guidance, while the file concerns a subdivision lot, a title commitment, and a property minus management payment? Option A. At least 4 years after the certification date. Option B. Until the license card arrives. Option C. 1 year after the course. Option D. Permanently with the county clerk. The correct answer is option A. At least 4 years after the certification date. Licensees are responsible for keeping acceptable evidence of completed renewal education. For exam purposes, focus on the regulated relationship rather than an informal business custom. Course providers or local offices do not replace the licensee's documentation duty.